Welcome to our weekly DPN Dog Podcast Network live, where we share what is happening at Dog Podcast Network. Hi, everyone. I'm James Jacobson.
And I'm Claire Mansell. I'm feeling blue.
You are very blue. We are playing with new blue technology, actually a new camera. It looks really sharp.
Oh, thanks. I might change the colours as we. I'm basically really keen to buy this cool strip LED light where you can change all the lighting. So here's the thing to watch DPN live for. I might change the lighting next week. Woohoo!
You never know. I mean, watch for the effects. I mean, yeah, if you like dogs, that's good, but just watch for the tech. And speaking of tech, we are debuting a new show that just came out, and you can catch the first episode. It's called Hound Headlines, and it is a new concept, never before done anywhere in the world, as far as we know. What is it, Claire?
And it was something that was inspired by this live, really, wasn't it, Jim? Because it was something we started playing with on this live, and we thought, hang on, maybe we should do this as a proper podcast that people can actually listen to. So what we're doing is we have the normal dog edition, as you would know it, the sort of scripted, well-researched show and everything, which is dropping every other week. And then
what's called narrative podcasting.
A
team of producers are working around sound engineers and everything to make that sound as good as possible.
And then sandwiched between those every other week, we have Hound Headlines, and Hound Headlines is
which we just kind of throw together.
Yeah, we'll throw together in a skilled professional way,
right?
So it's something where we look at the news stories that relate to dogs every week, as we have been doing latterly on this live, and we'll continue to do so. But we just chat about the stuff that I have and you have found in the news relating to dogs, and we have a little unscripted chat about that. And we're going to turn it into a video podcast as well, aren't we?
We are, and this is where the blue and
the and the cool technology. Camera,
and we're looking at green screen, and we're looking at crazy stuff. So I don't know if you think that's interesting to see Claire and I do.
The key to it is to follow Dog Edition in your podcast app, because then you get Dog Edition and you get Dog Edition Hound Headlines. So whatever one we're dropping, whichever week, it'll all come down that feed. So that's what you need to do, is go into your app, whatever app you use, whether it's Spotify or the Apple Podcast app, and find Dog Edition and subscribe to that. That's the key to it all.
You'll have lots of good stuff to listen to whenever you go for a walk with your dog. This week on Dog Podcast Network, in addition to Hound Headlines, which you should check out at dogedition.com, and then listen to the first episode. And in addition to that, we have a cool show coming out. We're not going to tell you about that because it hasn't dropped. It drops on Tuesday. However, we do have an episode of Dog Cancer Answers that should appeal to people who are really interested in the latest technology. This is kind of a tech thing that is happening in veterinary science. It's not yet available, but they're finding a way to use sound waves to destroy tumors, which sounds
not our sound waves, not the sound waves from our podcast.
We'll yell at it and out, damn tumor, out. No, they are using some sound waves. It's a really cool episode. You can find that in Dog Cancer Answers, or even if you don't have a dog with cancer, you may find that interesting. So check that out. You can find that at dogcanceranswers.com. I wanted to also welcome and throw up on the screen. We have people who listen all the time to this, but one person who listens all the time live and joins us is Danielle. So Danielle, thank you so much. I love seeing your little comments and congratulations and
she's
and
popped up on the screen this week. Look at this technology.
Because I figured it out. Yes. Yes. So anyway, Danielle, thank you. And if you're watching, please do let us know and comment by reaching out to us at dogpodcastnetwork.com.
You too could pop up there on the screen.
You can have your picture there, just the way that Danielle did. So if you want to get a taste of what Hound Headlines is all about, just a little hors d'oeuvre, a little appetizer.
Tell us about Ghost, Jim. Tell us about Ghost.
I'm fine. I'm glad you asked about Ghost. Ghost is a dog in Nevada who spent 6 months running loose with coyotes.
Which sounds kind of cool in a way, doesn't it? It sounds like Ghost is exploring their wild side, but it wasn't quite that straightforward, was it?
Not exactly. He was out there in the desert. He was eating rocks, and he
Oh.
got rescued because well, luckily he was found and he's rehomed.
Yeah. So I think he had an interesting time with the coyotes, but ultimately
Which we'll never know what we'll
yeah.
never know the story of Ghost and the coyotes.
Yeah, but ultimately I think was a little bit malnourished and had a limp and had things that needed attending to. So that's why people intervened and rescued him. They weren't just taking him away from his fun time running with the coyotes. It was about his welfare. You know, it was only a domesticated dog, wasn't as rough and tough as those coyotes. So that's why they've set up a GoFundMe as well for it, $15,000, which they've already managed to raise for his vet care. So it's amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah,
cool.
People can be so generous, can't they?
That's on this side of the pond. What about on your side of the pond?
Well, I have one about a 3-year-old Cocker Spaniel who is called Jinx. And Jinx has been trained to help control the rat population on a remote Welsh island. So a lot of the islands off the UK, whether it's Wales or Scotland, have wonderful bird populations, seabirds. And obviously, if rats get onto these islands, which they sometimes do through ships or whatever, then the rats can absolutely devastate these populations of birds. And Jinx has been brought in not to catch and kill the rats, but he actually detects the scent of them. And then, as they put it in the very diplomatically in the article, and they said he detects the scent and then he goes back to his handler and the handler can decide what to do next. I mean, I think it's fatal for the rat, basically.
Yeah,
they're not gonna come up and start stroking the rats, are they?
Yeah. I mean, there's no
rat.
rescue. Maybe they'll put that the rats. They'll bring the rats to the desert in Nevada and have them hang out with the coyotes.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. But it's interesting because they were saying that he did a lot of his training on another island where they had a big rat problem, and they've now got rid of the rats on this island. But sadly, the birds, the puffins that used to nest there, never came back because they obviously the eggs and things were destroyed by the rats, and sort of generations down, the puffins have never gone back, which is very sad. But Jinx is going to sort it.
That's awesome. Dogs are best friends. So if you're interested in these types of dog stories, because we find a lot, we have stories coming into our teletype machines all the time. Yes, that's how old I am. I remember, to give you an idea of how old and inveterate a journalist I am, I actually remembered, do you remember the AP or we?
Yes, when you had to rip them.
It was called Rip and Read. And you would rip it off and like, these are the, and then, well, I won't even get into all my deficiencies, but one of them is sometimes I make up words in scripts. Claire, I don't know if you've ever noticed that. It says one thing and he just says something else. It's kind of close enough, but there's a certain gravitas in my voice. I am confessing too much. There's a little gravitas, so that just goes through and people like, whatever. I guess that makes sense. I would do that with things from the Associated Press.
Well, I'll tell you a story, actually. I'm going to tell a tale on my former colleague. So as a newsreader,
not you. I was confessing to myself. Now you're
I'm going to tell a tale on someone I used to work with. A guy called David Hedges, actually. And I have an outtake of him because years ago, and this was many, many years ago, he ripped a script as it was just coming off live and ran into a studio. And it was, do you remember Hugh Grant was picked up that, I don't, what's the politically correct term? Streetwalker, lady of the night in Hollywood.
I don't know what the politically correct term is.
So
prostitute.
Okay, well, call a spade a spade. So he picks up this prostitute. Divine Brown was her name. And David Hedges, my former colleague, ripped this script and it hadn't fully printed. So what it said. Can I say this? I think I can say this.
This is live. This is the internet.
I said it's fine.
It was on the BBC. It was on whatever.
It should have said he's been that Hugh Grant has been charged with picking up a woman, and they've missed a word out on the script, and because it was such a breaking news story, and it said that he had been charged with up a woman.
There you go. I think you can say it. I think that is fine. Yes.
So there you go. So that's the hazard of these breaking news stories.
Yeah. So we get all
stumbled all over his script.
Yes. So this is a scriptless show, this live, as is Hound Headlines, because we spend a lot of time reading this stuff and then sharing it with you. And then the good thing is we share the links so that you can read more about it to know that we're telling you the truth, because we are telling you the truth. You can trust us at Dog Podcast Network. So I hope you will check out Hound Headlines, and you can find that in your podcast feed for Dog Edition. A little confusing, but that's how we're like testing this show.
Well, it's Dog Edition : Hound Headlines, isn't it? It's like, it's like a subsection.
And our graphic artist, who is part of our team, Raf, who is extraordinarily talented, did a beautiful graphic for Hound Headlines. And what's so cool about it is that you can have your dog featured on the cover of an upcoming episode of Dog Edition's Hound Headlines. All you have to do is give us a beautiful headshot of your dog, because it's just really the head of the dog, but it could be, we have Photoshop skills, and a beautiful where your dog is very clear and
looking at the camera,
looking straight to camera, and then your dog could be on the cover and memorialized for posterity in that. So check that out. Danielle, who I mentioned earlier, said, "Oh, how fun. Wow." Yes. So Danielle, that would be a wonderful thing.
Danielle.
So yeah, I'm sure I have a feeling Danielle has a dog. Otherwise, she's like, yeah.
Maybe some people don't have dogs and just really, really like them, and they can't have a dog because of their circumstances, they're out of work or whatever. So she might just really, really like dogs and not have one.
Yeah. Well, Danielle, if you have a dog, get in touch with us at dogpodcastnetwork.com. And anyone else, send us your dog, and he or she could be on the cover of a future episode of Hound Headlines, which would be pretty cool.
This has been fun, Jim, as always.
This has been. I will enjoyed it. Have a good weekend, Claire.
Yeah, you too. And I'll catch up with you next week.
Okay. Take care. She says she will. Okay. We'll see you next week, too. I'm James Jacobson in Maui, Hawaii.
And I'm Claire Mansell in London, England.
Aloha.